Hey, how's everybody doing today? Got something else for you. Today, I'm going to show you guys how you can prune your basil plants so you end up with a massive, perpetually growing basil plant that never flowers. Okay, you ready for this? Okay. All right, so here's one of my basil plants. This is Genovese basil, okay? So when you look at a plant like a basil, okay, I'll bring this a little closer for you guys so you can get a good idea of what we're talking about. Okay, there's a good view. Okay, so when you look at a plant, spin this around. We'll use this as the example right here. Where's my fingers? Okay, there we go. Okay, so right where these branches come out, that's called a node. This is internodal spacing, okay? So what you can do with a basil plant is you'll see at every node, let's get this closer, maybe you guys can get a better idea. There. Okay, so at every node, right, what you're gonna see is two leaves, like I'm holding here, and then these two are gonna grow into more stems, right, which are gonna put out more leaves and more stems. So what you can do is to turn this into like a bush, you can chop your basil plant just a little bit above the node. So like right about here. Okay, what that's going to do is that's going to transfer all the growth hormones into these two branches. It's just like topping a pot plant. Okay, same concept. So what I'm going to do is I have a branch sticking out the side right here. I'm going to top this. I'm going to cut it here because there's little tiny leaves growing in there. And then I'm going to top it. Where am I going to top this one? We're going to do it right here. Nope. We're going to do it up here. Okay. Decisions. So, once I cut it here, right, this branch right here and this branch right here are going to grow out in a big Y. And then it's going to produce more branches, which we can then top again, and it'll get bushier and bushier. And what you're doing when you do this is you're preventing this basil plant from flowering because you're telling the plant, don't make flowers, make more vegetation. Okay, so you see what I'm doing? Just a little bit above the node, gone. And this is what I've cut off. So I'm not too worried about this because I'm going to give this to my neighbor because she's not growing any basil and I know how much she enjoys it. So now that we've done that, maybe get a better view from this side. Okay, see what we've done there? So now this branch and this branch are going to Y out and it's going to create more of a bush type effect on this instead of just one single stem going up. Now it's going to create two stems, which we can then prune again. And so if I want to, we can go through here and we can find other branches that we can trim. You know what? On this one, I'm actually going to wait a little bit. Oh, sorry, not even in frame here. On this, I'm going to wait a little bit for the development right here at that node before I trim that. So I've got 5 basil plants. We'll just run through these quick. And by the time this video is over, you guys are going to be experts on how to do this yourself. Okay, so here is another basil plant, right? this camera down a little bit. There. Okay, so as you can see, we have the main stem growing up, and we have a secondary branch coming out the side. Okay, so we'll bring it in. We'll figure out at what node we want to trim that at, and you want to trim it at a node where you already have branches growing. So I've got 2 branches here, and I have 2 little ones right here. See them? There and there. So we are going to come to that node, take that off. Oh man, it smells so good in here. So you see? Now this and this are going to be the top growth tip, and they're going to grow out. And then on this side branch, we are going to come right here. See if we can zoom in on that. There. All right, so you see we have 2 side branches growing, 2 leaves, right? And then 2 side branching coming out. So we're just going to take our pruners. We're going to come in here. Going to snip that off like that. Cut that off a little bit. See what I've done? And now these 2 are going to turn into more branches that come out, and you can just perpetually do this. You can just prune it and prune it and prune it, and your plant will get bushier and bushier and bushier. That's 1, 2. Third plant. We find a nice node. So I don't want these too short. So we're going to prune it right there. Okay? Come in. Snip. Oh, didn't get it all. And then anything else? No, not on this one. Trim these off the bottom and trim these little cotyledons off. That's 3 plants. And the nice part about it is when you're doing this is that now I have all kinds of fresh basil. If I wanted to cook with it, you could make a pesto or throw together a quick tomato sauce for dinner, right? Can't go wrong with fresh basil, guys. So we are going to top it right here. Okay? Just going to come in here with our pruners. Take that off. Got a nice little pile of basil here behind me. And then we have a side branch coming off of here, but I can't prune that yet because there's really not much happening. So we'll give that another little bit of time. And if you're wondering why the leaves are a little curled up, it's because I'm currently water stressing the plants because I've got a fungus gnat infection, and I'm trying to kill out all of the larvae that's in the soil here. So, but that's just something we're working on. They're going to get a big drink tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to do the same here. This one is a little smaller than the rest, but it's still going to work. So, actually, you know what? I'm not going to cut anything off of this right now. And this is the reason. There's very few leaves on here, right? And they need these leaves for photosynthesize and to grow. If I cut that top off right now, we're losing a bunch of that fresh growth. So I'm just going to give this little plant, because it's pretty small, I'm just going to give this plant another week or so to catch up. We'll just stick that back in here, right in the center, and down like that. And then you guys can see my little basil tray. There we go. Look at that. All kinds of delicious looking basil. Oh, it smells so good in here right now. I love basil. Okay, guys. So that's all it takes to prune your basil. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. You know, just figure out what node you're going to do it at. Cut with a purpose. Don't just cut for the sake of cutting. Figure out the node and the reason for cutting at that node. Sorry, my battery alarm was just going off on my phone. So find a node and cut with purpose, right? And then you'll just perpetually have a bigger and bigger, bushier basil plant, and you won't have to worry about it flowering because you're just going to keep cutting off those growth tips and forcing the plant to just create more leaves. Okay? All right, guys, another tool for your toolbox. If you guys aren't subscribed to this channel, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And throw me a big thumbs up because it helps with the algorithm. And if you want, leave a comment. All right, guys, have a good one. Grow good food. See ya.